Hi, dear fellow members. I'm Gerhard Kriszt from Austria. I'm running BNI Lower Austria, and I'm honored to be allowed to speak to you in principle about retention rate, and in particular what makes our retention rate nearly 80%, what we have done and what I think are the keys to get a high retention rate. So I'm starting out to tell you a little bit about myself so that you know who is talking to you. I launched my first BNI chapter in December 2006. I live near Vienna in Austria, Europe. I am more than 30 years married to my wife Kriszt, and I'm very happy about it. I will tell you why this is important. We have 2 adult daughters, and we spent quite some time supporting other couples on a voluntary basis in an organization called Marriage Encounter. So marriage and a relationship is very dear and very important to us. And the other thing which you can get from that that is important to us, when I start something, I keep on going, and I like trustworthy long-term relations. And yeah, and if I have some spare time, I do sports and I like to go to the opera. Now, the retention rate, it all starts with, what do you think? With whom it starts? It all starts with you, and it doesn't depend if you are national director, if you are executive director, if you are member at another state. It all starts with you and the values you have established in your BNI countries or your BNI region or your BNI chapter. It all starts with you and your values. I mean, if your values are in line with the BNI values, then you are on a good track. In our region, we have 6 values, and one of the most important ones is appreciation, appreciating other. The second one is also results orientation. Otherwise, we are a friendship organization, but we also would like to do business with each other, and partnership. So you need to find out your values and establish your values, and then you can be successful. There is another slide I put in, passion, people, processes. And it doesn't start with processes, and it doesn't also start with people. It starts with passion, and passion goes well along with the values. I'm doing BNI in my region because I really love to help others to grow business-wise and personally. So it's my passion to get other people moving, to bring them forward. And when you have passion, you burn for something, then you will also attract the right people, and you will have the measure who is right for you. So honesty is a big value if you want to keep it going, and you will find out who is honest or not. And finally, if you run a business or you run an organization, you need processes to really make things happen smoothly, swiftly, and consistently. Tell you a true story which really brought back to me why these values are so important. You see here Franz Feldwebel, he's a tiler, and I was running a couple of years ago an visitors day, and at this visitors day we were happy to have 5 tilers, and 5 tilers, so they knew there's only one place and there was 5 of them. And after my presentation, Franz Feldwebel came to me and said, "Dear Mr. Kriszt, if I would have the honor of being part of this group, I would feel very happy, and I would be indeed happy." And this, "I would be honored to be part of that group," made me aware of the fact that it makes a big difference if somebody just joins a group or if he has the honor. Franz Feldwebel is one of the top members in our region. We are currently having 530 members, and he's still one of the top because he has the honor of being part of the organization. So, where does it then start? You have a visitor and you have visitor orientation. And the visitor orientation is important to also show that we have, as BNI, the group has something to offer, and on the other hand, to make clear what the responsibilities are and what the benefits are. So a clear visitor orientation is a very good start to get a good member. Then you have the application process. Many countries already are interviewing their applicants. I'm still a little hesitant on that. However, if we have 2 candidates for one position, or if we are in a little doubt if the person in front of us is really matching, is really keeping up to the values, we also make an interview. Then the membership committee reviews the application and takes a decision. And the decision is admittance or refusal. And it's important that the applicant is informed about this decision. This sounds very easy. However, we learned that sometimes membership committees are taking their decision but not informing the applicant. Now, put yourself in the shoes of the applicant. The applicant has applied and he wants an answer. And if he doesn't get an answer, it's not showing really professionalism, and he's not feeling that honored that he is important. He as person is important. So another small little point. Then comes the welcome to BNI. It's in the agenda. It's point 7, and it makes a big difference how this is performed. Then also it says in the agenda that the chapter director, or in your countries probably is called president, does a first orientation with the new member. Now there is a difference for the new member if the president is talking to him or he just doesn't have time for him. So another little piece which makes a difference. Then I hope you have a mentor program. So each of our new members becomes a mentor and he's introduced to the mentor. And this is in many countries, in many chapters, this is all done and it's done perfectly. My question is, and what happens then? Well, a couple of years ago in our region, nothing happened until the renewal was on the plate. Now, I found that that's pretty late to change anything. So we came up with something which is called the 7-month review. I was very fortunate to visit Tom Fleming in Florida, and when during my visit I noticed that there was a person doing reviews with some members, and I asked curiously what's going on, and he said, well, we have a review program which is done for every member at a certain point of time. Now, of course, it's BNI, and I was very happy and fortunate to get all the material. customized it for my region. I'm more for short and easy processes, and so I put one page, and on this one page everything is done. There is a one-page process to it, which you of course can have any time. It's available also in the national office, and so the 7-month review got started in BNI Lower Austria. So what's the objectives? The first objective is to evaluate the members' development within the chapter from two sides. He himself evaluates, do I get enough business? Am I happy? How does it work for me? And the membership committee, and this is important, it's the membership committee who does a performance rating of the member. So strengths and development potentials are assessed. And so you have, in the 7th month of the membership, you have a possibility to take corrective actions before the renewal comes. So if somebody has to improve, he has a chance to improve. If somebody is unhappy, he has a chance as member to say, I'm unhappy because of, and then it can probably be changed. So to put it in short, the terms and the conditions of the renewal of the membership are clarified well ahead before the renewal comes on the plate. And this, I'm definitely sure, increases renewal rates. At least it has in BNI Lower Austria. Now a little bit detail to the process. There is a form, as I said, to this process, and there is of course the name of the member, and you need 2 documents, online or in print, whatever you prefer. You need the personal palms of the past 6 months. We regard 6 months as a good period to measure, and in any form you have it, a member training report. So how many workshops has he done, and has the membership success program, does he take part in education. And now comes a very important part again, which I mentioned before. The membership committee comments on strengths. This is in German. If you want to learn a little German, it says Anerkennungsbereiche, and development potential, where you can improve. And it's important that the membership committee talks about these points. I mean, they have the numbers on the one hand, and they have the attitude which is shown by the member. I always talk about, in parentheses, showable attitude or recognizable attitude. What does that mean? It's something you can see. Yeah? It's not the length of the nose or how he walks. It's more, is he attentive at the short presentations? Does he show up punctually? Does he help others? Things you really can see. And based on the numbers and these attitudes, the membership committee gives their comments. It's important also that also there is strengths and development potential mentioned. If you're sitting as director, as director consultant, that's the term I'm using, that as director consultant advising the membership committee, you in 7 seconds you know if he's a good member, so to speak, or not, a not so good member. Because for the good members, for the excellent members, strengths are found very easily, and it really development potential is recognized. On the other hand, if you have a weak member, the membership committee has a hard time finding strengths. And so you can really see how the members in a chapter are at this point in time. Then they decide on a review partner. In Florida, one person does all the reviews, which I found a little overwhelming. So in Lower Austria, we take one person out of the membership committee who is not the best friend and just has a good relation with the member and to make a good conversation. Sometimes maybe it's good you use only 2 or 3 people out of the membership committee who really like to do these discussions and reviews. Yeah, and the review partner then decides with the member on a date where they do the review. It has to be within the time frame until the next membership committee is sitting together, because then there should be a very short, precise report back. There are a couple of questions. How are you feeling in the chapter? How would you evaluate your benefits from your BNI membership? This is just a few examples. And then you have the final question. And the final question is, if you had to decide today whether you will apply for your membership to be renewed, which is the likelihood that you will renew? This question shows you very clearly how the member feels if it comes to renewal. And if he says 100%, the world seems to be at that moment at least fine. If he says 70%, 65%, the person conducting the review has the chance to say, well, what would have to change that you would still say, well, I'm renewing, or that would bring the probability of the renewal up. So there is at the end a clear picture how your members feel. Do they always say the full truth? No, but 90% you are correct, and you can you see how the chapter is going and the members in the chapters are going. So that's the process. This was the final part of the process. Now the big question is, for everybody, for all the members, and independent where they live, why should I renew my BNI membership? Now I was going with this question, and to make it simple, I'm really for simple formulas. I came up with the following formula, which constitutes the why in my opinion. It's P times E equals L. So you can guess for the next 5 seconds what the letters could be standing for. I'm still here, I just gave you the 5 seconds. So P stands for profit times emotion equals to loyalty. In my world and in my observations, members who don't make money, don't make profit at the final end, leave. Why should they stay? Members who are emotionally dried out because there's just nothing going on in the chapter, no social get-together, it's only straightforward, very professional, but no atmosphere, if this is the right word in English, they will also say, well, it's not for me. And look, if one of the P or E are 0, then it's obvious that the result is 0 because it's times, it's a multiplication. And if the equation equals out to 0, that means I'm leaving. So it always needs a balance between profit, professionalism, accountability, and emotion, being together, having fun together, and moving forward together as a team. And if you have high profit and high emotion, you will have high loyalty at the end. Now the Q&A is a little difficult, but you can drop Laura a mail or whoever, and I will answer it happily. Keep in mind the why. Profit times emotion equals loyalty, and with the 7-month review as a tool, you can work on that in the middle of the membership. I thank you very much for your attention. I hope you found it beneficial. My name is Gerhard Kriszt from BNI Lower Austria. BNI, where contacts turn into contracts and partners into friends. Thank you, my friends.